All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday, November 25th episode of the AM show hosted live on AlphaMint. Happy Thanksgiving to all of my American friends. As we were talking about in the pre-show, us Canadians like to get ours out of the way in October. Free Market, who is my co-host, and I'm joined with every single day, had a bit of a theory that maybe it's because Canada is cold as fuck and the harvest comes earlier. I think that we actually like to just front run all of the purchases on the turkey because we're smart like that. But I honestly have no idea why we do it a month earlier. But on that note, I am your host, R2DGen. And as I said, we do this every day, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. If you tune in late or can't make a show, we do record it on YouTube with a video component that you can follow along with. We are, I think, hopefully today or tomorrow, going to be trying out some YouTube live stuff too and start streaming it live so you can watch it there as well. But also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So yeah, on that note, how was your Wednesday? We had a busy day.
Wow. Yeah, it was an incredibly busy Thanksgiving Eve. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, gobble gobble to everybody out there. And whoa, what a roster for AlphaMint yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty much a day in front of the microphone, and even just prepping for stuff for Free Market and I as we did the morning show every morning, wrap that up, and then yeah we booked Bad Bunnies, which we did on the stage here at 6 p.m. Eastern last night. We went for I don't know, probably just over an hour. That's going to be recorded and put up on YouTube for anybody that missed that as well. Which was a great interview. Had a good time. Can Opener is a solid dude, and I love talking to him. And then right after that, we both basically just jumped into the Orcs Twitter space with Maz that AlphaMint was hosting, and we did that until about I don't know, a little bit after 9:30, somewhere in there. So yeah, it was a good day. See how my voice is doing by the end of this show. How are you feeling about it?
I feel great. I mean, man, those teams are smart. It really, when you invest in an NFT, of course, you're investing in the art and the roadmap. But just like in traditional investments, the CEO, the board, and the team is so important. I mean, you're essentially investing in them. They're the ones who decide the direction of the project. And if you listen to both interviews yesterday, you came away really bullish on both.
Yeah, it's always great when teams can really, you know, adequately, relay the ins and outs of their projects, and they really have a good grip on the NFT space as a whole, and the outlooks kind of vibe with yourself. Like, invest in people is a pretty solid thesis, and I left both of those interviews feeling really great. And you know what? Actually, the thing that I got to say about it is. I kind of say it was a long day, blah blah blah. Poor me, poor us. But it's super easy because, especially with them and doing the stuff with you and Maz, like it becomes so easy that these are conversations that we just love having, and it's kind of exhilarating. And when you sit down with these people from the teams and they're just having fun with it too, it stops becoming an interview, and you just almost feel like you're just out for. A couple drinks with the friends, and you're just shooting the shit. So like super thrilled with how that all played out. All right.
Yeah, and I think we
Sorry.
got, some really good insight.
So
I
we'll
think
break.
we got
Yeah.
some really good insight into how these teams think about their projects. So the Bad Bunnies team brought up some really good points, I think, about
So
the
hold on.
the
Hold up.
forever meme in NFTs. When?
Oh
Sure.
yeah. No, no, sorry. I definitely want to get to like a full discussion about Bad Bunnies and Orcs. I do just want to get the intro and news stuff out of the way first. I think Free Market just left. I don't know if I interrupted him or not. So it's just like fuck you, man. There he is. Let's get him back up on stage. You there? You all good?
Yeah, do I sound okay?
Yeah, you're fine. I like kind of cut you off there, and then you just bailed. I was like, damn, I must have pissed him off. I thought things were going well, man.
My
Um,
feelings are easily hurt.
yes.
I got over it quickly though. I'm back.
Appreciate it. Happy to have you back. Yeah, really quickly. I don't know if you were paying attention to the cryptocurrency space, but Bitcoin kind of had a little bit of a recovery. Just refreshing it now, hanging around, 58, 59,000. Ethereum actually going on a little bit of a run, up almost 4% on the week now, getting towards 4,500. And then looking at the 7-day trends, it's Sandbox and Decentraland. The biggest notable thing about the metaverse plays is that Sandbox is coming full steam ahead for Decentraland's spot on the cryptocurrency market cap list. They are just not slowing down.
Yeah, I think Sandbox is it was undervalued relative to Decentraland. Decentraland has a working product right now, and Sandbox is still essentially selling the land. You can't really do much on it yet. Um, but it was an undervalued metaverse play relative to Decentraland, given the mind share they own. I mean, most projects are building for both metaverses right now, and both these coins and both these stories are just going to continue to unfold over the next few years. These are secular bull cases. I'm super bulled up on both these names and a few other smaller cap metaverse plays that are really interesting out there. So that'll be a good deep dive one day.
Yeah, we should definitely keep that in our back pockets and do more of a show around the metaverse plays. They just continue to run. Decentraland up 53% in the week. Sandbox up almost 100% on the week. Rounding out the top of the 1 week gainers, at least in the top tier of cryptocurrencies, is Gala, which we mentioned before, but it is up almost 200% on the week, and it does not show any signs of slowing down. That is another a game-based token. So gaming in the NFT space, as we discussed with Orcs yesterday, is just fucking booming. So again, we'll get into that, but I want to switch into NFT news a little bit. And NFT is Collins Dictionary 2021 Word of the Year. It's
Wow.
yeah, like relevance. Honestly, I know a lot of people in the world see some of the youthful terms get added to the dictionary, and they start doing that. Oh, Jesus Christ! Like, what is the English language coming to? YOLO got added to the dictionary. There's some very good thesis that the evolution of a language and colloquialisms becoming commonplace are very, very healthy for a language, but I won't get into that. But NFT is joining that realm, and they beat out the words metaverse, double-vaxxed, and cheugy, which I had to Google, and it means uncool, which basically, if I didn't know, that means that I am indeed cheugy.
Yeah, you're super chug. I think that the I would love to see the wallet of the head of product at Collins, because that whoever made this decision owns NFTs. They are deep in this world. They could be in this room right now, and it's amazing to me how. And I go to a club that's very art focused pretty regularly. There's always artists there making art and stuff, and all I do is talk about NFTs, and maybe 1 in 10 have any idea what I'm talking about. So to see Collins do this, it makes me think somebody there is already deep in this world.
It's Nate,
And
Nate got hired by Collins and is
yeah,
pumping his
exactly. Yeah,
NFT
I'm working
bags
with
from the
Collins.
inside.
Yeah. Hey, had a product. So yeah, very cool stuff, man. I expect this to at least start to permeate the normies' mind share a little bit.
Drip Cult is saying in the AM show chat that cheugy is the new term for basic bitch, and I am a basic bitch. Actually, not to derail the
Actually,
conversation, but did make my first cup of French press coffee this morning. With your help, I did have to call you. Water was boiling, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. So there you go. I ditched the Keurig.
I get an all caps text. Help! Help!
Yeah,
Please
yeah,
help! I
yeah.
called. I thought I had to call the Mounties or something. Like there was something wrong in the house.
Yeah, like
Is that
I have like a 4 ETH transaction stuck in the meta and in the ether scan or something. No, it was what do I do with this fucking boiling water and how much coffee do I put in there? So yeah, here I am, the brand new convert of the French press, and I look forward to sharing my experience with you. Maybe I'll make a whole new social profile to document my adventures in French press coffee. So I know
I'm
Drip
loving
Called
this
is
new you.
silently loving this too. Oh, the Hoffman method, he says. Yeah, I will look that up after.
Yep.
Moving on, real quick, Christie's and Opensea are hosting an Ethereum NFT auction on OpenSea from December 1st to 7th. There's going to be a little bit of a viewing period for these the NFTs that are going up for sale, and then from the 4th to the the 1st to the 3rd, and then the 4th to the 7th, there is the auctions are going to be taking place. A couple notable features are going to be Cyberkongs, Fuck Render, and a whole bunch of other ones. But Ether Rock is going on there, nice. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. This is kind of where we've been going. Christie's and Sotheby's have had plenty of NFT auctions live now, so interesting partnership. Nothing that I'm like sounding the horn on. That's like the big
Well,
coming
you
out
know,
party. But Christie's isn't nothing.
crypto people know that it's a little. This is all PR. It's a little pointless to go pay an auction house fee to sell your NFT. That almost the whole point of this being an easily tradable asset online is you don't have to go to Sotheby's or Christie's. But we know that, especially when we're talking about the fine art angle here, these auction houses are so important in that world, and to gain relevance, you have to be in them. So there are people like Jimmy One who are selling their gold apes and paying a huge fee to Sotheby's just because he knows it gets that name out there and it's worth it for the industry and for his bags at large. So
Yeah, there is
it's a
a
good thing.
yeah, there's a legitimacy that having a Sotheby's or Christie's kind of stamps on NFTs, and particularly of note. Like, I don't think it's a big deal for people that are already in NFTs, but I think for people in the traditional art world to see this get more and more exposure, it does become harder and harder to ignore. That's why I think the live auctions are pretty big deals, but yeah, it's never bad to have it being out there and front of mind for these collaborations and whatnot. So moving on from that, talking about great PR, is Moonpay quietly set up a concierge service to help celebrities buy NFTs. This is a home run for Moonpay. I mean, they did Jimmy Fallon and Post Malone purchasing their Bored Apes, but they've basically used the idea of reducing friction for high profile and high net worth celebrities to buy NFTs as a marketing strategy. And that these celebrities, once they get their hands on a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape or any of these other ones that they end up buying, they're going to be tweeting about it, sharing it, and Moonpay is going to be right along for the ride.
Yeah, friction is a double-edged sword. It is both the reason crypto hasn't gone mainstream and seen mass adoption, but it's also the reason you have opportunity right now because you're willing to go through that learning curve of figuring out how to profit off this stuff. By the time things like Moonpay make it one click for a celebrity, and I mean, Moonpay is brilliant to format it as a concierge service, which is already a language that celebrities and wealthy people speak, and then completely reduce the friction for them to get into this new hot area. They raised a $550 million round last week, and boy, is it well deserved. Moonpay just is striking the perfect tone at the right time, and they are going to reduce friction in this industry, and eventually that's going to reduce your edge. I love seeing it. It's an inevitability, and Moonpay, I think, is going to be a force in crypto.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love about blockchain is that because it's all transparent, the article that I'm looking at kind of highlights the fact that uh, the company's transactions on OpenSea and whatnot are also transparent, and it looks like Lil Baby, a rapper, is also using it to buy a Bored Ape, and even on top of that, it shows on EtherScan that Moonpay has sent four payments totaling $1.4 million to Post Malone's wallet. So you even get a sense of what they're paying for marketing, and that amount of transparency is a lot of fun, especially giving us stuff to talk about. But yeah, $1.4 million payday for Post Malone being on the cutting edge of Moonpay's concierge service. Not too shabby.
Of which there are now 15 million views on his music video prominently displaying his new Bored Apes
Yep, using Moonpay.
using
So
Moonpay.
brilliant marketing strategy by them. And if you're still investing in traditional equities, Moonpay might be one to watch out for as it looks to go public. And then, yeah, last news piece that we have today is NFL Top Shots are actually being called NFL All Day. Dapper Labs unveils the football version of NBA Top Shots. I joined the wait list. I know you've been on it. You sent me the Discord this morning, so that's pretty exciting. Obviously, this is really exciting news heading into Thanksgiving weekend, which is also the biggest football weekend of the year, apart from the Super Bowl. But they also released a pretty good looking little teaser video uh, surrounding their drop. So this is something that I know there's a lot of football fans in AlphaMint, a lot of fantasy football heads, and they're going to be playing the fuck out of this. I am definitely going to be waiting for that invitation to partake as well. I'm not a big football fan myself, but I do understand the power of football and the NFL and kind of the insane dedication that the fan base and the collectors in the space have. So I as even just as an NFT type play, I think it's going to be very, very strong.
If you didn't follow Top Shot from its beginning, this really caught fire in February. Top Shot packs are on the Flow blockchain. Um, you reserved them and bought them, and people who were early were able to get some very, very limited edition cards. Now, back when Top Shot started, nobody cared. Packs would sit unsold on the site for days and weeks. Now, they have 250,000 people that queue up for every pack drop, and you'd be lucky to get one. The most expensive card sold by Top Shot, I believe, was $250,000, though more expensive ones may have been sold since then. They have essentially diluted the brand by increasing the supply with each subsequent series. So we're on series 3 now, and each card has a 35,000 or a 40,000 supply, which is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but we always talk about current market capacity. And right now, there's only so much money in NFTs and in crypto. So that really big run they had in February crashed pretty hard, and it's been pretty dead until recently. They are seeing a bounce off the bottom now. This is why we're so pumped about the NFL. Those first series and those limited editions are going to go for six figures. If you can get in on that wait list, that white list, those early reserved packs, it's practically guaranteed money, even though there are no guarantees in this world. So AlphaMint's going to be working pretty hard to get everybody on that white list. We all jumped in the Discord yesterday. They've given no specifics, with the exception of one tip, which was brought to us by Flying Kiwi, that maybe owning all of the S2 Cool Cats, which is a series within NBA Top Shot. I don't know what the price is to own all of them now. That information is actually easily accessible on their site and a few other fan sites. But the rumor is that if you own the entire Cool Cats S2, you're going to be whitelisted for the first NFL drop. So we'll be following that closely. And that's something that maybe you should try to work yourself into, whether you're a football fan or not.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things that we spoke about before regarding the NBA is that it does seem to have like a pretty big crossover between like the sneakerheads that were trading a lot, and a lot of those people got into NFTs. A lot of the NBA players have bought NFTs or are involved in crypto, and the NBA is very good at letting them be public about that. So a lot of the NBA fans that got into NBA Top Shot have already kind of migrated into crypto and NFTs. That was a big launching off point for them. The NFL, I guess not Top Shot, but the NFL All Day series is, I think, going to bring a whole new wave of people into the NFT space. Like I said, particularly the NFL collectors, of which there are tons. So this is really exciting news and something to watch. It'll be interesting to be keeping football on the TV over the weekend and see if it gets mentioned at all as well. I got to believe it will be.
Our fearless leader Scott dropped the info in the AM show chat. It is $8,000 for the entire Cool Cat set, were you to go buy it off the secondary right now. That may sound expensive to you guys. I would bet that's going to be a positive EV play for anybody who could afford it.
Less than 2 ETH.
There you go. Less than two. They messed up by pricing everything in dollars there, though at the same time, you could argue that's why they were so successful. Most people who participated in Top Shot have never touched crypto because you can buy Top Shots with a credit card. Another fun fact,
Bored Ape that's Yacht dangerous. Club. Yep, go.
Bored Ape Yacht Club came out of an NBA Top Shot forum. Most of the early buyers of Bored Apes were Top Shot fans. That was a Top Shot fan creation. So, yeah, they are an important part of the current miasma.
I didn't know you had asthma. I'm such an asshole.
No,
I'm sorry.
I wasn't laughing.
Oh, I know that I am not funny. That was a stupid joke. So, but I make myself laugh, and that's what counts, right? All right. So yeah, some crazy bullish news there. Let's move on. We'll quickly go to WGMI. Ether Orcs having a great week. Good day. We'll talk more about that. I think probably next we can just move on to that. But other than that, everything is kind of just chilling right now. WGMI doesn't actually have a lot of the projects, the newer projects that we're looking at. So it's a little bit difficult to track everything that's going on. But yeah,
I'll quickly shout out Soda, which is seeing really brisk sales even this morning on Thanksgiving Day, and Legend Maps, two that may not be on WGMI, but
they're
have just been seeing constant brisk sales for the last 24 hours. Those are two hot projects right now.
Yeah, Legend Map up to 0.3 floor, and that one kind of just continues to roll. I know you were super excited about that last night. And Society...
Soda. Yes, of derivative apes.
Sodativity, yeah, just pulling that up real quick. Yeah, hanging up about 0.15 right now, so nothing wrong with that. Anything staying over mint price is always a good sign, and the ownership actually looks like it's tightening up a bit.
Yeah, floor isn't the story with these two. They're right now everything's a little depressed, I think, because of vacation, but they're still seeing good volume.
Great volume, yeah.
They're moving pieces. So the moment the larger volume does come back, I expect those floors to move pretty quickly.
Rounding out some of the other winners in the on the week for NFTs is NFT Birds, Anonymice, Rumble Kong Leagues, Roboto's having a good week. Tom Sachs Rocket Factory up 20%. So yeah, not too bad at all. Any projects that you've been involved in that's kind of either mooned or dumped?
Dormant Dragons, I think, is an interesting one because we were watching it, right? These were the 3 dragon projects that we were all watching. Was Draka, Dormant Dragons, which we thought looked very similar to Draka, but had slightly more personality. I think they had some more fun dragons, smoking pipes, and rainbow dragons and all that stuff. And then we have Digi-Dragons, which is debuting in 5 days. They're mint. Dormant Dragons is sitting at 0.085 right now. It does not seem to be they're pre-reveal, but they don't seem to be getting really that pre-reveal pump yet. That could just be related to when they reveal, which I'm not 100% sure about, though I do know a lot of AlphaMint members are in there. For perspective, Legend Maps, which was a 3-day reveal, didn't really start chugging until that morning when it got up to 0.4. So I'm hoping our Dormant Dragon holders see a nice pre-reveal pop, but really not a lot of love there, not a lot of volume right now.
I actually just pulled up. Oh yeah. I actually just pulled up the Dormant Dragons on OpenSea, and it looks like it's almost at 0.13 right now. Yeah. But leave it to OpenSea to probably tell 5 different people 5 different things, right? So good volume on it though. There you go.
Yeah.
Definitely we'll look for the reveal on that. All right, let's talk about yesterday a little bit more in depth. We started off with Bad Bunnies on the show. Thank you to everybody that came in and listened in with Can Opener there. He was a great guy to have up on stage. Part of a project, that AlphaMint's pretty bullish on, and we have a lot of holders in. But it was really cool to have kind of our first official interview. We did the Pirates of the Ireland pretty informally a couple weeks ago to get our feet wet with it. But Can Opener was a solid guy. What do you think of the interview?
I loved it. He was talking my language. I really enjoyed the way, I really agreed with the way that he views the market. Mind you, they launched when we were all a lot more naive. It was the middle of the greatest bull market NFTs have ever seen. Everyone was very roadmap dependent by that point. People had gotten, it was basically like, well, what does the NFT do, right? It was no longer these are pretty little pieces of art you buy. It was, what does the NFT do? So they have been inundated since debut, and especially since the bear market, quote unquote, hit with when is your roadmap coming up? And I was really heartened to see the team not be fazed by, they're just putting their head down. They're sticking to their roadmap. They're working, and they're not really worried about the daily gyrations of the market or the constant clamoring from people for them to do something, when token, just to get that pop, because we know that even if you do get a pop from your announcement, it tends to be short-lived, especially stuff people know about. I mean, these roadmaps are out there. So I was really happy to see that the team has a great attitude about just putting their head down and working.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the show a little bit last night, but he wrote a post in his own Discord regarding this. I think kind of, at the middle of November when things were we were feeling that depression of not much happening in NFTs, and a lot of the floors taking a beating. Their floor definitely took a beating during it as well. I think it got down to like 0.02 at some point. I think it's sitting around 0.07 right now. But he came out and he wrote a really great post regarding all of the FUD that people were spreading in the Discord. And just to read the first couple lines, but he said, regarding a lot of what has been mentioned above, what I'd say just generally here is it hasn't even been 2 months. There's a real problem in the NFT space of unrealistic expectations that is going to come to a head at some point in the future because there are humans behind this and we're not robots that run on a perpetual power source. When everything is a question posed when people are nervous about their investment and projects scramble to do something, anything. Unless the project is pumping, and then they're generally the community have no when questions. It goes on quite a bit longer, but I thought that was a pretty poignant part. Real people behind, these projects. And it's kind of funny because that meme that what's that guy that did the cameo? What's his name? When he's like, where? Can the devs do something? Anything. Bad price. Hard Rock Nick. Yeah. Hard Rock Nick. I mean, that's become a pretty funny meme to share and use, but really, that is what a Discord looks like when the price is falling on it and on a project. And in a bear market, let's be realistic, save for a couple of really successful brands, nobody was really immune to that. And if you went into any Discord, it was all them saying that. And I agree with you. I just thought it was a really interesting perspective of, the long story short being just chill the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah, I think the team is committed. I'll briefly go over their roadmap real quick. The first thing on their roadmap is a Coinbase listing. We briefly touched on it last night. I didn't try to pose it as a gotcha question, but it was kind of breaking news that just 24 hours previous, leaked information from Coinbase's terms of agreement stated that under absolutely no circumstances may any project have a utility token, an ERC20, nor may they fractionalize other NFTs and represent that value with another NFT. So I think this burst a lot of bubbles and had a lot of teams questioning which strategy would be better for the project and for long term. Bad Bunnies has a lot of mass appeal. They look, they're very cool cats-esque in their cuteness. They were courting Cartoon Network at one point with a TV show, so it has that look to it, and they are actively pursuing Coinbase. So the question is, how does gamification and tokenomics play into a strategy, given what looks like is going to be Coinbase's very harsh stance? So that's yet to be seen. After that, they will be releasing a game that is physical, with physical cards, which looks absolutely amazing. But I think the more interesting angle would be that they're going to be putting this game completely on chain. There's no timeline for this. Do not buy under the idea that this announcement is coming soon. But I think that it's been their plan from the beginning, and as they see this new meta become the trend, they must be like, oh, God damn it, you know what? Like, this is what we were going to do, and now it looks like we're responding to it. But I really like the direction they're going. You'll be able to battle your bunnies for carrots, which will eventually be their underlying token if they go forward with it. And even if they didn't, I think going to the Coinbase direction is also a really great idea for them, because there's so many mainstream licensing possibilities with a collection like this versus, say, dick butts, which aren't quite as appealing to the masses necessarily. So that was, I thought, a great interview and great insights from them. And they have an exciting roadmap coming up. But buy those bunnies because you like the art, because they're not just going to make announcements to pump that floor price.
You heard it here first, folks. Dick butts do not appeal to the masses. Gasp. No, honestly,
Sad, but
you you mentioned that kind of like accidental gotcha question, and we had talked to Can Opener in the kind of in a voice chat before, and just said anything out of bounds that you don't want to touch on. He seemed pretty comfortable with talking about Coinbase and the idea of being listed, and we had kind of operated under the assumption that he would have seen that announcement too, but being in Sydney, like time frames are weird. What feels like 24 hours, well, not what feels like 24 hours to us, but the news cycle kind of just hits at different times, and it was pretty recent. But yeah, I think he responded to it pretty well, and we didn't want to put any pressure on him to like demand an answer out of him. It's obviously a gigantic process for his project. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he made a great point that our Botswanian friend Dark Illidan is bringing up in the AM show chat, and that's Bored Ape Yacht Club and Mutant Ape Yacht Club are already scheduled for Coinbase, and they have a token coming next year.
Yeah, but that's those are the foul calls that LeBron gets versus so like
right.
they Bored Apes gets to call the shots on their own project, and Coinbase has to follow within reason. But you don't think so?
Here's the point. I mean, if they're making this, this isn't like gray area language.
True.
The leak, if it's true, was very specific. Are they going to delist Bored Apes, or are they going to get a pass? If they get a pass, I think there's going to be a huge uproar from all these other projects, which, it's not fair. This is crypto. How many ERC20s can you trade on Coinbase? Why,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. Thank you. Cool Cats also. They
Yeah.
have their milk token, and that's definitely a Coinbase slot. So I'm hoping that this is all either misinformation or kind of just gets changed with the Coinbase policy. But I think the overarching question for this industry that we're all thinking and worried about is, will these be classified as securities? Because that's not good if they are. There's too much regulation that would absolutely kill what's going on here. So.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of discussion, I was listening to a podcast with one of the a holder of Bored Apes, but he's doing a new podcast with Patrick O'Shaughnessy of Invest Like the Best, which is a podcast I always listen to, and they're kind of branching off into like digital assets with like a secondary podcast. But he was mentioning that the Bored Apes are doing a lot of diligence with lawyers regarding their token. So there might be like a level of research and stuff done that Coinbase feels comfortable with in regards to those projects, as they have a ton of resources and a gigantic brand behind them. That maybe, a smaller project just throwing a token out there hasn't done. So maybe there's more behind the scenes or under the hood, so to speak, in regards to Bored Apes and Cool Cats. But it'll be, did it ping when he said dig? But yeah, I gotta believe that that with projects of that size, there's more of a thought process going into it. And then on another note, like Bored Apes and Cool Cats doesn't need Coinbase in the way that Bad Bunnies would hope to get listed on Coinbase. I don't want to say that they need them either, but it's a lot bigger deal for a project like Bad Bunnies than Bored Apes, which is already a cultural phenomenon, right? If somebody wants a Bored Ape, they don't need Coinbase NFT to do it.
Yeah, well, I think Coinbase needs Bored Ape and Cool Cats.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you really gonna debut your marketplace without the most famous mainstream NFTs there are? Like, that seems
Coinbase needs them more than they need Coinbase. 100%.
100. And I hope this forces Coinbase's hand for these smaller projects. Could be a good thing. We'll be watching it closely.
And then so we spoke with Can Opener for a while. Great to have him on. We are gonna be launching the recorded episode of that for those that didn't get to tune in, and we're gonna throw it up on YouTube as well. So if you're interested in that conversation, please go check it out. I think it's a very digestible, like 45 minutes to an hour. And it was a lot of fun. And then, immediately we got off and started prepping and talking to Maz about the Ether Orcs Twitter space, which again was a lot of fun. I kind of had like my old man like punching the computer moment when I logged onto Twitter on the PC and couldn't get onto Twitter Spaces to talk. I could hear it, but it wasn't showing up in the audience. Maz couldn't invite me to speak or whatever. So then I was scrambling around to get my phone, which was dying, charge my phone. And then I realized I couldn't take Twitter Spaces off of speakerphone. So then I was scrambling to find my my Bluetooth headset to listen in and speak through on that, so there wasn't any feedback. That started dying, and I was horribly embarrassed the whole time. But yeah, other than that, I think it went off really, really well. And we even had a surprise rap artist jump into the question session and go for, I don't know, probably a minute, but what felt like 2 hours.
Yeah, that was. What's interesting is on Twitter, the spaces will just show up randomly in people's feeds, so you'll get some audience members who aren't necessarily there for the subject matter of the talk. But man, that was a lot of fun. The Orc team, just wicked smart, cool guys, and Maz held one hell of an interview with them. There was so much good information there, especially if you're trying to understand this new on-chain gaming paradigm.
Yeah, and one of the questions that Maz asked was, whether or not Ether Orcs was prepared to kind of take on the role of the OG on-chain game. They were very humble about their answer, saying, Anonymous was around before, and there's been other stuff like CryptoKitties. But I feel pretty comfortable anointing them the true on-chain OGs of like real kind of gameplay, where it's not just in Anonymous or like See My Cats or some of these other ones that have happened. There's some game theory, there's some choices and actions that you can kind of partake in, but we're comparing like a Pong to like a World of Warcraft here.
There's nothing quite as complex as Orcs out there right now. And, the conversation came up because we started talking about Wolf Game, which, I mean, it's been the talk of NFT world for the last week. And I think the only umbrage we took with the entire phenomena was that all the influencers who were paid to shill the project and were tweeting about it nonstop for 3 days, they were proclaiming it as the first, a pioneer, the OG. This is going to change the landscape. I mean, it felt like loot all over again, the way these guys were talking, which is fine, except they were wrong. Like, they weren't even half right. There's like 6 on-chain games that had debuted before Wolf Game. A lot of them had better art. It was a really false narrative that was being pushed. And I think the Orc guys, I don't even think they cared. They have been putting their heads down and working. And when they told us, when they heard about this Wolf Game thing, they kind of popped up to see what it was. And it's just, when you're so deep in your own thing, it's very hard to follow other projects closely. I think Cobain and I are starting to understand this now. And they were impressed by Wolf Game. They took a look at it. They thought that they did some good things, but I don't think you can compare it to what Orcs was doing, nor were they even close to being the first. Orcs are definitely the OG on-chain RPG. The only thing before them close to it was Mice, which was much more of a DeFi centered play with some gamification around it. But the Orc guys have just really added complexities and game theory into this that makes it like the RPGs of yore that we all grew up with. I think that's why we all kind of identify with this game and think Orcs are going to be a force in NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, their floor is now like really, really comfortably over the 1 ETH, sitting at 1.2. But like in perfect timing as we were getting ready for the show, I think it was maybe an hour before we were going live, an Orc God sold for 20 Ethereum. And you hadn't even seen it. We were kind of debriefing in the chat between Bunnies and Orcs, and I kind of let you know that, and I mean, the wind just came out of your sails. I could feel it through the computer screen. But
for those that don't know, I was in contention for an Orc God, and through technical reasons, I did not get it. They had auctioned one off. I forgot exactly what it went for. I think it was a little under 20. This one I had seen up for sale yesterday for 20, and I thought, oh, that's cute. Maybe they'll get it. We'll see. Orcs hadn't quite caught the fire that they caught by late evening yesterday. But yeah, that Orc God went for 20 ETH. It's not surprising to me. These things earn 30 Zug a day, have immense advantages, look really goddamn cool. And if you don't know the quick price history of Orcs, they gave 1,500 of them for free to the whitelisted group in their Discord. They quickly debuted around 3E, got up to 5. Most of them sold around 4. And the first phase of the game was creating more Orc supplies. So they steadily fell till the end of the game, which also coincided with the bear market. So these things were sitting at 0.4 for at least the last 2 weeks, if not a little longer than that. I mean, AlphaMint had been pounding the table. Look, we're all really heavy in Orcs, and we'd like to buy as many as we can, but we can only buy so many, and we were pounding the table like this cannot stand at 0.4. It makes no sense. Even when the Orcs were at 0.4, you were earning close to $5,000 in Zug per orc, and each was selling for under $2,000. It made no sense.
$5,000 per year.
Yeah, $5,000 per year.
Yeah,
per
yeah.
orc.
A little bit of context on the time frame on that, because I had that like split second of like a day, like oh my god, no.
Yeah, no. So I think that the way that they caught fire right before the show, we saw Zug rally all the way up to $2.20, which is a recent high since Orcs had made their low, and more Zug was burned yesterday than was created. And that makes Zug deflationary. Now, there's going to be, it's going to change from day to day, of course, but we saw quite a few large names start aping into orcs in a big way. The floor got up to 2, but quickly people started undercutting as it did not continue rising after that. Anytime you see a large volume spike on icy tools, you have the short-term traders rush in looking for their double and triple, and when it doesn't do that, you will quickly see them undercut and recover whatever ETH they can for their next play, which, if that's your strategy, great. But I think they're sitting at about 1.2 right now, but the number of unique orc owners has gone up quite a bit, and raids, which had been slow, this is the next phase of the game where you collect bone shards, are starting to pop off as people spend their Zug to send their orcs raiding for bone shards so they can create shamans. That will be the first accompanying character in this game. They will create potions that aid the orcs, and with orcs sitting at about 1.2, I'd expect these shamans to debut above 0.4, maybe even 0.5 or 0.6. And these are created for about currently $500 worth of Zug and 8 to 16 days of your orc's time, depending on what level they are. It takes 60 bone shards to create one shaman. So that's that's what's going on with
that's super cool. They've created a ton of interesting game mechanics, and one of the things that I was like super encouraged to hear is that they have about 2 years worth of content kind of planned out, maybe not like finalized, but they have an internal roadmap of kind of 2 years worth of stuff. And but they were more than willing to admit that they'll work with the ebb and flow of the community and the market to kind of fit their niche and best service the supporters that they've had. So that's really great news, and I think that they have a long future ahead of them, and it'll be interesting to see just how far they can actually take this project as the OGs of the NFT gaming space. And I just wanted to quickly highlight, you mentioned the Orc God that got auctioned off. I did pull it up. Icon mentioned it in the chat, but it did go for 14.8 ETH just over 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So
I thought he meant 2 gods were sold for 14 and 8 E, because anytime I see the comma, it throws me off. I'm always making these, Europe versus America, Canada versus America comments, because I love both Europe and Canada with a burning passion. I want everyone to know.
Just not our unit of measure.
Yeah.
Actually, going back to the coffee, you're like, okay, get 80 grams and measure it with about 1.5 inches up the tube. And I'm like, fuck, man, I don't know what any of this.
Yeah, I'm doing metric conversions in my head, and then Cobain doesn't own a scale, so I'm trying to then change those into dry measure measurements.
A scale for your narcotics.
That is not what it was for.
Okay, so I think we could probably wrap it up and start moving into the Q&A. If anybody wants to start throwing their hands up in the stage, I can start bringing you up. But I also, just while we're waiting for that, I saw there was a discussion going on while we were in the show about ENS. And did you re-enter?
I didn't re-enter. It looks like it's up 35%. I'm not sweating. I've seen these things play out a million times. It'll make a slightly higher high. I will be able to get it at my $35. I don't know when, but stop telling me about it. I don't want to hear.
Well, I mean, it looked like it bottomed out at around $39.
It did.
sitting at a nice, comfortable $67 right now. So
I guess I've just been distracted, but I love ENS. It's a long-term play, and I own a bunch of ENS names in different wallets, and I've been shopping for some new ones. I'm not going to hint at what they are, so I don't get front run, but let's just say a lot of them have already been taken, and I don't know who these wolf people are, but I'm going to find them one day. I am wondering what is going on here. Just gonna say that.
I've also really been working hard on getting the London fork out there. You're welcome.
I really appreciate the assist. If I ever do sell that, I'll have to throw you a royalty.
Yeah, you're goddamn
I also
right.
think FMC called it to the T, where ENS dropped, and then you're like, oh, give it 2 weeks, it's going to go down, and then it's going to rip again. And I think to the day, it's doing exactly that.
Yeah, I wish I was not distracted. It's crazy. Like when I get in shitcoin mode and I'm just charting, I can see well the ball there, and then I'm back in NFT mode. I miss that. It's hard to do all these disciplines. That's why people say like find your niche and just carve it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when people come up here and be like, have you looked at the Sol project? And it's just like, dude, I can barely keep up with the ETH projects going on. Like, it'll eventually get to the point where like maybe you start have to sourcing out just like Sol specialists just to keep up with the conversation, because it's a network that's not going away, I don't think. But yeah, it's hard just to keep your finger on the pulse of everything that goes on. I thought Drip was coming up here to give me shit about my French press techniques.
High-profile airdrops, guys. There's a playbook, and I'll guide you through the next one. But it's clockwork at this point. Like, it seems like it's such an obvious play that people are going to immediately dump their airdrop tokens. But what counteracts that effect are whales who try to get in on that governance game early. So we'll go over it before the next one happens when it's anticipated or whatever. But that's why these airdrops are like choreographed plays at this point. You know what's going to happen. Good morning, Cass.
GM, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys too. Although I don't understand the concept of it, but I know it's a big holiday for you guys. So
it's a harvest festival. It's harvest time here. So everybody, you have a big meal, you celebrate the harvest, and you give thanks. Pretty simple.
You know what? We used to do something like that in the UK, but then they kind of forgotten about it after technology kind of came in. The whole harvest you at school. So that's cool. I never knew that.
Yeah, I love it.
I too often get drunk and forget about things.
Oh, Cobain. Is it possible to DM me your wallet address?
Sure.
I'm gonna send you a bug.
You what?
I'm gonna send you a bug and take everything out of your wallet. No, I'm joking.
Perfect. You heard it here. This is like incriminating evidence on live. This is being recorded. You know that, right?
It's fine. It'll probably give me a few more views and a few more kind of likes on my Twitter, maybe. Who knows? No, just just good morning, guys, and love being here as usual. And funny enough, I just went and bought them dormant dragons just now. Funny you should say that. Cool. Yeah, they look decent. I do like the roadmap. I do like the people behind it. They seem okay. And the artwork looks really cool. So yeah, we'll just see what happens.
I think investing in people behind stuff is never a bad thesis or play. Like, it's more informed than just throwing ETH around into anything that's hot, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely right, because at least if you get to know the people, if shit hits the fan, you can help them out. But once when you start talking to people or start talking to these founders, some of them you can tell, it's just a quick pump. But some of them you really kind of feel the vision that they have and where they want to go in the space and how far they want to go in the space. And I think that's one of the attractive things that I look for when looking for an NFT is what kind of people are behind it, and if you can really back them. Because in the real world, it would be the same thing, would it not?
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that it's in front of a computer screen and you can't see the money physically in front of your face, and you just see it as a small decimal figure. So your mind kind of programs it to be less than what it really is. So I know that happens with me. So yeah. So what's your plans for Thanksgiving? I'm surprised you guys are even doing something.
Well, as I mentioned, my Thanksgiving is long over in October for Canada. So this is just a typical day for me, but like kind of, we say it and it sounds corny as fuck, but like free market and I would probably be in a call talking about stuff anyways. So here we are just doing it live for you guys.
So
and
I have a very interesting and diverse family. So my son and I are at my mother's where we're going to have Thanksgiving dinner. And my partner Panucci is actually at the Day of Mourning March in Massachusetts. Panucci is an indigenous person, and that is where they are right now. So that's what we're doing. We're having Thanksgiving dinner with my mom. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. I haven't seen my mom in about 4 or 5 years, so enjoy it,
Oh,
baby. I can enjoy
thank
it,
you, thank you.
you know. Right, I will leave you guys to it once again. I'll probably catch you same time, same place next week. R2, just send me your just send me your wallet and I'll send you a present. Thanksgiving present.
Thanks. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I look forward to it. I appreciate it. Definitely not necessary, but always yeah. Always enjoy having you up here too, my friend.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, guys.
Hey, no problem, guys. Take care.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, let's get Icon up here. Spoken to him a bunch in voice chats, but I don't know if he's ever been up here on stage with us. GM.
Akon and Young Jeezy. What?
Oh, you're still botching the name.
Icon.
That is fantastic.
I know.
GM, how y'all doing?
Oh, great, man. How are you doing?
Well, y'all hear me all right with this headset?
Yeah, you're good to go.
All right. Now, it's like I put in the EAM chat, by the way. I don't know if everyone has noticed, but the guys from Treasure, so they basically partnered up with 1KX. Now, for those who don't know 1KX, in short, you can see them as a few old schoolers within the, let's say, crypto scene, and who have done quite some good work from a technical perspective as well. So that's definitely something to look out for those who are interested in Treasure in general. So the DAO, actual
okay,
DAO,
yeah,
which is something that people find out, but also in terms of what their future might hold, because that's definitely looking like they're preparing for some very huge things, especially on the Arbitrum layer.
This is the Treasure DAO, right?
That is correct.
And they have the magic token?
That's their token. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Actually, one of the things I kind of had on the back burner that I was looking at, because I have Fud Farm, but they're they have a loose partnership with Treasure right now. Yeah, but they had a big announcement of the next step of their game yesterday too, and the NFTs have kind of been on a little bit of a rip ever since. Going from about 0.01 to about 0.04, but some of the rares are super thin there too, and I saw some relatively big sales for those purchases. So interesting that you just brought up Treasure. Maybe all kind of coming together right now for some of those projects.
Doesn't Small Brains also operate on that ecosystem?
Yeah, that's correct. So there's Small Brains. There's another one that's quite, let's see, they're still trying to keep it a little bit stealth, or mysterious, better yet, which is Enjoy Yours. And
Enjoy yours.
Enjoy Yours.
Yeah, there's lots of
final
O's.
one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most
So,
definitely.
Icon, if you're sorry, go ahead, keep going.
I forgot about it. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're pretty well versed in the Treasure kind of universe, in business, wanted to come up and maybe pick your brain a little bit too. Are you good with that, or?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I'll invite him up on stage. It's something that I'm trying to look into a little bit more myself. I remember when Fud Farm announced the partnership, I kind of did a little bit of a dive on it, but fell on the back burner for me. So I'm happy to kind of have this discussion up here.
Hey guys.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
Hi.
perfect timing because I was like for like an hour I was going into the treasure, like researching into treasure and magic this morning, when one of my VAs was like had said that it pretty much doubled from yesterday. So I think it was around 80 cents when I checked it a little bit
Oh,
ago.
I actually, that's the interesting part. I actually stopped checking the price since I'm gonna say since 2 weeks, or no, since last week actually when I bought in some more. But in terms of Magic itself, or no, let's take it the different route. What are your questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems pretty bullish. Like I was just reading, so that they aim to be kind of an L2 for like basically NFT marketplace and a place for games, but primarily with like NFT DeFi, right? I mean, they have Small Brains. That's that they just launched. I think a lot of us are in that. That was a great AlphaMint call. Um, I got us in there. I actually recently sold several. I had several wallets that whitelisted on that. I can't believe what they're selling for. I mean, that's nuts.
It's
I guess I haven't
humongous.
really. It's insane. But so I think they said that they like the question is now. So I have some free magic, right? And I know that's not NFT related, but what to do with that, right? So I think they had staking available with like a 600% APR, and I think it halved today. I was looking at getting like a Genesis mine in that. I don't know if you have one of those, but it seems like the trajectory for Magic is up, and I don't necessarily know if like now is the time to like just bridge out and liquidate back to ETH.
Well, it's very versatile. That's where the complexity comes in, right? So first of all, um, part of well, first first things first. If you have treasure or unraveled treasure, which is a fractionalized NFT at that point, um, you may want to look into actually staking it on, well, first of all, migrating it to Arbitrum, being layer two, and staking it manually, so it could, between quotations, stake mine those magics for the time being, right? Because they're they're very subtle in their manner of, and very dynamic as well in their manner of calculating their tokenomics. And here's the interesting part is they're not just doing it programmatically, but according to a very well thought of DAO structure. I mean, this is something we rarely see within this scene, and that's why I'm not afraid to say DAO in this environment, in this project. Let's say first of all. Secondly, when it comes to just having only magic, then it really depends if you're more interested into actually purchasing um, other NFTs in their marketplace, like we are doing with Ethereum on OpenSea, to maximize your gains, or how you see it, then you may do so. If you prefer to wait until they open up their new staking pool, then you could do so as well, because they will be doing that very soon. Uh, the question is when they will actually be doing so.
Right. It's definitely a young marketplace. So I think you guys have seen, like we all have gripes about OpenSea from if we go back to the NFT space, right? How hard it is to
Mhm.
use in some cases. But like when you go over to look at like the treasure marketplace, they really don't give you a lot of information. You don't really have any metrics. You kind of just have here's the last sales. But not but you can't even think you can scroll to the second page of like on Small Brains of like last sales. It's like it gives you like the last 30 and then that's it. Like there's no pagination.
If
So
if I may give my technical let's say my technical analysis from this point is that, well, not in terms of the crypto, but in terms of their marketplace, with the limited amount of developers that they have, and with the amount of experience that they have, they've already been able to create this. Honestly, very well done from their part, because in
I agree.
most cases, yeah, in most cases, most aren't even able to just create a marketplace.
Hey guys, guess what? We have a expert in magic and treasure. Traveler just told me in the general chat. So please fill us in. Give us
Yes,
some.
I've been screaming
wow.
internally for about 5 minutes, just itching to share. So
Just burning
Um,
inside.
So I see in the
guys
general
didn't
chat.
small out.
You're the community manager.
Yeah, I just saw
of
that.
Treasure.
Well,
You
that's all the
guys
time we
didn't
have.
small
Thanks,
out.
folks.
You guys didn't small out small bodies, which is the project on which I work.
That right. That was the
So,
third one. I knew I
it's
forgot.
the
That.
second.
Thank you.
So
All right, let's
So you're
let's
working
give
on
let's
small
let's give
entities.
Traveler the stage for a couple minutes, and we'll let him say his piece.
Go ahead. I'm muting up.
Oh, no worries. So, Enjoyer is actually NFT number 3. Number 2 is Small Bodies, which is considerably further along, and will closely, I think, mirror Small Brains. And you're actually a lot of the art's already completed, and you'll see that. I run the Twitter over there too, and Small Brains announced a pet. Small Bodies will receive a pet as well. So a lot of the kind of the conceptualization and development's happening concurrently, even though Small Brains is number 1. And they're really doing something pretty cool with this. And it's given me a wonderful opportunity, is that they recruit a team from the community. So I was an early joiner, and I kind of presented my, resume to John, and he was like, all right, we'll see what you can do. So what it is it's kind of an experiment in decentralization, and that they've recruited me from the community to help lead this project and essentially figure everything out, get my legs underneath me. And a lot of this is also tying into kind of what's happening over there. So as you all are saying, as you've seen, as you can look at Magic's price, which is, I woke up this morning and it doubled. But they're trying to build something out, well, but also quickly. So they need all hands on deck. So I think what you're going to see in the Small Brains Discord, you'll see this as well, where they kind of sent out a solicitation to artists and other people that might want to get into NFTs. Is they just want to get as much content on their platform to draw users to Arbitrum, to have people realize that you can have and enjoy an NFT without paying $70 to $200 in gas. And it can be provided free. And this kind of came up yesterday, and spoke my disagreement with a statement that NFTs can't be free and that you don't want to compete on price, because that's exactly what they're doing right now, with the value proposition that the marketplace is all interconnected, and you are coming into and using a user created mined currency. And by buying into the system early, you will be able to create your own magic as well. And so it's kind of also the allure of, this is something really cool. We're just trying to get people to adopt. We want it to be fun. We want to recruit people. We want to empower people. Please come join us. And it's really an exciting, and it's really a powerful thing in the space that I really don't think I'm seeing.
Traveler, I'm first of all, thank you so much for coming on and fleshing out some of that for us. I'm gonna reach out to you in DMs if you don't mind, and hopefully we can kind of figure out a way to have a really great discussion surrounding that. If you would want to do something in more of like a segmented format. In regards to the morning show this morning, I think we probably are going to start wrapping it up, but Icon in business, Traveler, even anybody else that's listening, if you want to jump down into the voice chat and keep some of this conversation going, I would love to actually listen in more about it and learn about it, just because I have been interested in it, but there's a lot to wrap your mind around, and we're always looking at other new stuff to talk about on the show too. So make sure we jump.
Wait. One question for Traveler on Alpha. Is it too late to get whitelist on Small Bodies?
Oh man, so anyone who has worked through this process knows, and I've found firsthand, whitelisting is a nightmare. But yes, there are still spots. I think we've filled up probably to about. It's tough because I've given out more whitelist roles than I've received wallets, and I'm going to be tracking that super closely. And but I want to get the wallets, the people who actually submit. So it's yes, there are is the short answer. Long answer is how many I don't quite know, but there is enough that I'll be able to give a decent amount out.
Can you
but I
drop
hate the grind fest.
Could you drop the links for our listeners in the general or in the
got it.
latest drops for the discords and stuff? I gotta say,
Absolutely.
thank you. I joke around a lot about L2s and me being an L1 loyalist, but since Arbitrum has come on the scene, and I don't know the guys who run it personally, but I've listened to them on a bunch of podcasts and been reading their tweets and stuff for years. It's the most competent team out there, and if there were a way to invest in Arbitrum like a token, I would totally do it. I am super bullish on that L2, and especially small brains and small body. They look really good. I think this could be. There's really nothing to do on Arbitrum right now except small brain. Like, they are Arbitrum, and I think there's a lot of potential there. I was on the small brains whitelist and stupidly left because I was still kind of L2 averse then, but I've definitely been converted, at least with Arbitrum, and I'm gonna go join those discords as they're dropped. I was asking for those links for me. I was being selfish.
The market capitalist has seen the light.
So we if you want to keep talking, Traveler, even just like this morning, we have a voice chat that can be pretty active during the day, in the kind of the Moon Lounge area. So if you want, I can hook you up with a 72-hour. I can hook you up with a 72-hour pass, and you can come shoot the shit with us and check out what else we got up there. This isn't a sales pitch. I really just actually appreciate your you coming on and talking about it and want to hear more. So.
Becoming an AlphaMint member is in my pipeline, so it'll be a good trial run, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, we'd love to hear what else you have going on and whatnot too. So yeah, I'll after the show I'll set you up with that, and we'll have you in voice chat, and you can just come hang out with us if you want. If you're not too busy, everyone's got a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, it's always fun getting to meet new people. On that note, free market. Is there anything you want to finish off with before we wrap this up?
A project that sticks in my mind constantly that I can't seem to forget about is Creature Toads. I love how they look. They're still at that bear market price. They haven't been rediscovered. Maybe the only knock against them is they all look relatively similar, maybe, but they're sweeping their own floor right now. I know a few AM members watched that project, and I really love the way they look. That could be a cheap get. That's just something they're talking about in the DGen dojo right now, so thought I'd throw that out there. Otherwise, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and good luck at the dinner table today.
Nice switch up. Love it. Yeah, honestly, if you're spending time with your family or doing anything for Thanksgiving, have a great time. AlphaMint will still be here when you get back, and I expect everybody to onboard at least 5 of their family into the NFT space this weekend. So good luck with that, and report back with how it goes. And we will be doing this show, I believe, tomorrow morning too, if you don't have anything going on.
I'll be here.
We'll do it. Yeah, so we'll do it again tomorrow morning. We'll cap it off for the week on Friday. And in regards to the Ether Orcs and Bad Bunnies conversation, I'm going to be working on those videos right after this show. So keep an eye out for them going on our YouTube page anytime. We'll obviously link to it as well to let you know. So thanks so much, guys. Great show, and appreciate all the guests, and appreciate everybody that was able to tune in. So yeah, we'll catch you soon, and good luck at the dinner table, as Free Market would say.
Peace.